Welcome to hell. Next week, there's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of torture, and a lot of torment. Some of you may wish that you'd never even been born. This is what you've signed up for. Oh, hang on, I've got a call coming through.
Michaela, this is the PIP Fast Track week, not the week of fire and torture.
Silly me. That is the week after. You're here because you've signed up for SCQF Level 9 Practical Investment Planning on our Fast Track week, which is next week. Sorry, sometimes I get confused. My name is Michaela Pashley. I am the Managing Director at Practical Financial Exams, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this introduction, this what I like to call a PIP Talk. The point of this video is to set out what you can expect on the Fast Track week. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to arrive on the Monday, signed into the Teams meeting for 9 o'clock sharp. And that'll be our check-in time every day, 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock sharp, at the Teams meeting, I'm ready to go. Now the Monday, this is all about getting your written assignment done and finished off. And this is why it's so important that you come to the Fast Track week either having completed assignment 1 or with a solid first draft. You will then have the rest of the day and the evening, including a one-to-one session with me, in order to finish that off. The hand-in time for assignment 1 is 9 o'clock on the Tuesday morning. So that gives you enough time to finish everything off, sleep on it, and then give it a proofread in the morning with a fresh pair of eyes. But ultimately what you can see is that this gives you the time to manage your own diary. It's your responsibility to make sure that the assessments are in on time for deadline. What will then happen is that your assessor, long-suffering Alan Whittle, Alan will assess you on the Tuesday and the Wednesday. Now we've only got one assessor. Now because we've only got one assessor and we've got a number of different candidates, there's only so much time we're going to have to do remarks. And that's why when you submit your assignment 1, you submit it and it's perfect. There shouldn't be proofreading errors, spelling errors, grammar errors, financial planning errors, process errors, mathematical errors. It should have already gone through that process. We don't want to have to fail someone because they've mixed something up. Now, if you are unlucky enough to fail your assignment 1, then you will have the opportunity to resubmit. But you're going to need to take the time out of the rest of the week, either during the day or in the evening, in order to do the work you need in order to resubmit that. So it is truly your responsibility to manage your own workload and your own diary. Now, when it comes to the Tuesday through to the Thursday, we're going to do assignment 2. Assignment 2, for which you are going to be paired up with another candidate. You're going to work with them throughout the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you're going to produce 7 role plays. And not only are you going to produce 7 role plays, you're going to produce a written evaluation of your partner's role play, and you're also going to write your own learner reflective statement, and you're also going to provide a third written piece of evidence, which I will cover with you on the week. It is all in the qualification spec, which is in your textbooks. So if you really want to know about that third piece of evidence, then go and check it out in the textbook. But the core of your assignment 2 and what you're going to be spending the majority of your time doing is these role plays and then writing corresponding observer statements, buddy statements, and also your own learner reflective statement. These shouldn't take long, and the majority of the time should be spent practicing the role play. Now, if your role play partner messes up, then don't just kind of accept that. Tell them, look, that sucked and you need to do it again. Remember, it's your name going on the role play partner statement. You're essentially vouching for your industry peer. Now the deadline for that is 12:30 on the Thursday. And you can manage your own diary with one-to-ones with me throughout the Tuesday, Wednesday and the Thursday morning. Manage your own diary. Do it in the evenings, do it during the daytime, I don't really mind. I'm going to be there on hand at all times to hold your hand and to give you guidance. But this is your assessment. You have to complete it. You have to deliver the results. On the Thursday afternoon, we're going to look to start preparing for assignment 3, your interview, for want of a better word, your professional discussion with your assessor, Alan. They're going to take place on the Friday, and Alan is going to spend that Thursday afternoon grading your assignment 2s. Fortunately, grading an assignment 2 doesn't take anywhere near as long as grading an assignment 1, so he's got all afternoon to do that. Based on the first people to submit their assignment 2s and get a passing grade, they will then be issued the choice of a time slot on the Friday for their interview. And I assure you folks that those early slots get filled up first, every single time. So with that in mind, it is in your interest to make sure that your assignment 1 and your assignment 2 are handed in for deadline on time. Your assignment 3, all you need to do on the Friday is turn up for your professional discussion with Alan. There's no check-in in the morning with me on the Friday. You will simply go into your professional discussion with Alan. He'll send you a Teams meeting directly and you will have your interview. You will get your result on the day. Once you've got your result, and you've passed, obviously, then that's you. All done. All passed. If you were unlucky enough to fail that assignment 3, then you'll need to go back and redo the sections that you failed. For more detail on the questions that we'll be asking in that interview, it's all in your textbook. In the qualification spec, right at the beginning, we tell you the bank of questions. We tell you how many of those questions we're going to be asking. Now it's worth mentioning as well that how many we'll be asking is going to depend on the quality of your assignment 2, of your workplace evidence. How good are your buddy statements? How good are your learner reflective statements? How good is your other information? Now, while this is not the week of fire and torture, it can seem like that sometimes. Because this is a challenge. This is a level 6 SCQF level 9 qualification. The fact that it's soft skills is irrelevant. Some people see soft skills as the soft option. It's like, no, it's not. You'll be working hard next week. I am going to be working hard with you next week to get you through. This is very, very difficult to do on your own. But with me holding your hand and with the support from your buddy, you'll do it. You will. You'll get through. The challenge, the biggest challenge, is that assignment 1. Because if you fall behind on that assignment 1, then you may spend a lot of time that you could be spending on assignment 2 and preparing for assignment 3, redoing the mistakes you did for assignment 1. We're not expecting absolute perfection, but we are expecting good, solid advice that is well presented, that conforms to the requirements detailed in the qualification specification that is at the start of your textbook. We tell you exactly what our standards are, and there should be no ambiguity here. And if there is ambiguity, then please tell me, and I will answer the question. So what I suggest you do is I suggest you take tonight, tomorrow night, or over the weekend, whatever, before the Monday. Make sure that you've got a good, solid assignment 1 draft, at least. If not, feel free to hand it in before the week. Let Alan work on the Monday. Let Alan, take the time to review your work on the Monday, and then you've got the Monday to chill out and prepare for assignment 2. More time for assignment 2. That sounds magical to me. But nevertheless, you have the Monday to work on your assignment 1 if you need it. That's what it's there for. And you'll also get a one-to-one with me. But if you want to hand it in early, my advice would be to do so. Get that extra day in. There's no extra charges for resits on the week. You could theoretically hand in assignment 1 and fail it 49 times and pass it on the 50th. And there's going to be no further charges. But obviously we are limited in terms of the time that Alan has, and he has not got time to review the same paper 50 times. So with that in mind, it is in your best interest to make sure that your assignment 1 conforms to our requirements as laid out in that qual spec. Now, if you want some tips, if you want some hints and tips, there's loads of articles on the PFE website, including specific articles about why we have failed candidates. 5 reasons we failed candidates, 7 more reasons we failed candidates, whatever they're called. Go and look them up. Also, it's worth me saying one thing that we will not tolerate, and I say this because it happens every time. One thing that we will not tolerate is cheating. We have very, very, very sophisticated ways of identifying plagiarism, including from our own textbooks. If you decide in your infinite wisdom to steal a whole bunch of stuff from our textbook, you will not pass. We need to see that you understand these concepts. So if you want to use our structure as a guide, that is absolutely fine. But do not simply steal our wording. And we always get the same answer, by the way. Whenever we challenge people, oh, I didn't know. I thought we were supposed to just nick the wording out of the textbook. No, you're not. You're not supposed to nick the wording out of the textbook. You're supposed to word things using your own language and your own phraseology. This is a soft skills qualification. We are assessing your ability to communicate. And if you are just stealing our stuff, then you are not telling us or showing us how you communicate. I hope that all makes sense. With all that out of the way, I like to end on a positive. Most people that take the fast track week, passing. In general. I mean, there's been a couple of dodgy weeks, but in general, most people who sit a fast track week pass by the end of the week. They end up hating me, for sure. But nevertheless, they still end up passing, and ultimately that is what you're paying me to do. You're paying me to develop your skills sufficiently in order to pass. And we have high pass standards, and it's not like, these are our standards that we just decided. We are credit rated by the Scottish Qualifications Authority, who has graded this qualification at SCQF Level 9, which roughly transposes to RQF Level 6 in England and Wales. So with that in mind, this is tough. This is like any AF paper that you sit with the CII, or any advanced diploma paper with the LIBF. It's going to take a lot of work. But we get most people through. And those that don't get through on the week, they usually get through over the next couple of weeks. Usually it's just they need to finish off their report, and then maybe time in the week, or they've got to redo parts of their professional discussion. And they usually get through the next week or the week after. But that obviously depends on your commitment. How much do you want these skills? How much do you want to pass? Because these skills take work. They take practice. That's why we role play for assignment 2, to give you that practice. The very best of luck to you. I'm sure that you will all do very, very well. You will have your hand held all week. I will be available at all times to talk to motivate you, to give you all the skills and all the information you need to pass. But you need to be the author of your own success. You need to be the manager of your own diary. I have no doubt that you will all do well. If not by the end of that week, then in the subsequent couple of weeks. Just by virtue of being here and learning from, well, not necessarily me, but the likes of Alan, Masters qualified, studying for his PhD in investment. My team consists of the likes of John Dunkley and Andy Horton. These are some of the best financiers in the country, if not the world. You've got access to the very best here, and we will do everything we can to get you that pass. We want you to pass. And if we're being tough, it's only because we care. If we're saying that this isn't good enough, we're saying it because it's not good enough. A good way to think about this is, how would you work with a client? Is it good enough for a client? And if it's not, then it's not good enough for us. The very, very best of luck to you. And I'll see you bright and early, Monday morning, 9 o'clock sharp.